Hi everyone.
Hello, good
It's
evening.
been a while. We have two guests as guest assistants today.
Because we have treat box here. Open one, open.
Oh,
Open the treat box.
okay.
Open.
Here.
Hey,
I
butt
don't know
down.
what's going on.
Butt down. Hey, butt.
Here. Mm. Yeah. Okay.
Here. Okay.
All done. Anyways, today's topic is going to be kidney stones and edema. So basically, this patient. Should I tell everyone who she is?
Not me.
So it's the patient is my mother. She 2 years ago she had kidney stones and she went through. How should I? Okay, let's keep it short. So basically, she went to emergency because she had the pain from kidney stones and there. After they she went to the emergency, they gave her painkiller and then sent her home because they couldn't do the MRI the same day. They had to reschedule it. So the next day or 2 days later, we went back again to do the MRI to find out there is actually a kidney stone, and the size happens to be around 6 millimeters, or 8 millimeters. Normally, when you have a kidney stone, it's under 6 millimeters. The hospital will they'll send you home, and they'll let you try to pass it out by yourself, because generally our I think it's called urethra, so the tube connecting kidney to our bladder is 6 millimeter wide. So anything less than 6 millimeter, they think it will go through by itself, and they would not perform any surgeries for you. Anything more than I think 8 to 10 millimeters, you cannot pass by yourself, so they will schedule you for a surgery to either blast the stone from outside or they'll go in and remove the stone. So she happens to be kind of in between those two range, and they were hoping that she would pass by herself. So they didn't schedule. They couldn't schedule her like a. Oh, hi, Mimi. They couldn't schedule her like a quick surgery. So we waited for actually about 2 weeks before we can go in and see the specialist.
Only 2 weeks. I thought it was longer.
Maybe.
Because we drag it until like around May from.
No. Anyway, around a week or two before we actually were from our first visit to the ER to when we actually see the specialist, it was about 2 weeks. So during this 2 weeks, whenever she has pain, we had to take her to the ER, and they would give her painkillers and then send us home. So it's very frustrating because there's nothing nothing really we could do. Even though like I use acupuncture to ease the pain. It helps a little bit, but it wasn't helping so much. But at that time, our friend Blues, who's also a TCM practitioner, was helping us. So he prescribed some herbal medicine for my mom, and that would kind of help passing stone and reduce the pain. So it worked. The medicine worked pretty well, so she was having less and less pain during the 2 weeks. So we only went to ER maybe like 2-3 times in total in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then each time we have to stay there for like at least 3 hours
Yeah, so
before they could do anything for us.
yeah, we have to wait.
Yeah, a lot of waiting.
So basically, drive there, park, check in. They ask you what's going on, how's your pain.
And then
And
you sit and
usually
wait.
kidney stone, the pain for kidney stone is very high, so they will let you go in before other people, but still the wait time is like maybe 10 minutes before they send us into a room. And then when you go into a room, you have to wait for the doctor, which is another 10 20 minutes or to even more, half an hour. And when they come in, they just give you painkillers and measure your blood pressure, and that's it. They couldn't do anything. So at that time, so after she was scheduled for surgery. I think it was even a month later, after we saw the specialist. And when she went in for the surgery, they did the blasting from the outside. And after that, she was bleeding quite a lot from her urethra, basically just the trauma from the blasting due to the urine tubes. And before they could perform the surgery, you have to take you have to drink a lot, like 2-3 liters of the solution to clean up your intestine that make you have like watery diarrhea. So my mom's intestines were pretty weak, so after the surgery, she kind of still has a bit diarrhea going on and couldn't really so the side effect is much bigger on her than on other people. So and then a week after the surgery, they went back to an x-ray check and find out the stone was still there.
That for nothing.
They missed it. So but during this time, we thought like the stone has been blasted, and because there has been some powders that she could see in her urine, and we thought that was part of the stone, but apparently it wasn't. So they have to reschedule another surgery to actually go in from your pee hole, from your urethra, go up with a tube. So that surgery is like a month and a half away from the previous surgery. So there's a lot of wait time going on. So when she first started noticing it, it was January. And it wasn't until May she was able to have the surgery and had the stone blasted from inside. Again, after surgery, there's a lot of bleeding, a lot of aftermath, and then I think that was finally it for that episode. She had kidney stones attack before, maybe 5-6 years before that. So the reason she has kidney stones is, of course, due to her kidney function isn't so well, and she never liked to drink water. She never felt thirsty at all. Like her body retains a lot of waters, and it's so much water that she doesn't need to intake any more water. Like you have a paper towel is soaked with water, and you cannot, unless you squeeze out some water, you cannot put in any more water. So that's what's happening with her body. So fast forward to this year, just like a month, 2 months ago,
or even longer.
Yeah, just anyway, earlier this year, she started to feel that pain again. There was some bleeding from her in her urination, and it's the same kind of pain. So we thought it's the same thing, and so this time, my skill and my diagnosis was a lot better than 2 years ago. So I was able to prescribe the medicine by myself, and so I prescribed medicine for her, and it kind of helped ease the pain a little bit. And so we didn't have to go to emergency at all this time. And then after a couple of weeks of herbal medicine, she was able to, the pain disappeared, but there was still powder in her urination. So that means the stone is kind of, we're hoping it was dissolving or getting smaller, and and the bleeding stopped as well. So overall, I just want to get a history and let everyone know that actually before we have any of the Western medicine technology or our advancements, the ancient Chinese people still had kidney stones, but they were able to use the medicine or acupuncture to help kind of get the stone out of their body, and kind of there are medicines to dissolve the stone or kind of help your body to break down the stones. So the picture that I posted 2 weeks ago, it was her foot before, that was earlier this year, or it was late last year. Anyway, around the New Year's time, and then the recent picture is just probably 2-3 weeks ago. So you can see the difference between the swelling of the feet. Previously it was very puffy, lots of water retention. Now you can see some bone structures. So overall, her health has been getting better and better from the medicine that she's been taking. So so for the past 2 years, she has been taking medicines on and off to improve her health. So now her health is a lot better, and I think that's the history. But we're gonna go into details of what was going on in her body and what I prescribed for her. Any questions? Any questions?
Wants this.
Oh, of course. Oh.
This one has urine problem.
Oh, she doesn't like the cat litters. She likes to pee on those diaper potty training pads for dogs.
Yeah. We don't know why. We
Yeah.
try a lot different type of litter. It just doesn't work on her. She wants the pads.
So anyways, my mother's, for the longest time, her sleep pattern is always, she goes to bed very late. She couldn't wake up in the morning, early morning. She usually sleeps until like noonish, or even sometimes when she's not very healthy, she feel like a little bit sick. She needs a lot of sleep, but somehow she's always very energetic at nighttime. Couldn't sleep until like 2-3 o'clock, sometimes even 4-5 o'clock in the morning. So I've noticed that since I was very little. So her sleep pattern is always kind of shifted towards going to bed late, waking up late. And her next thing will be I think for sweating wise, she tends to sweat in her feet even though she's not having any activities. So it's an indication of your body is not, either it's too hyperactive, like when you're scared you have like cold sweat, or the body is too deficient, the lack of energy to hold the sweat hold the moisture in your body. Or another reason is because her feet are always swollen, and the water kind of goes through the sweating glands. And her appetite is okay. It's pretty normal that she eats 3 meals a day, but she has lately, like in the past couple months, she has this bloating issues. She's like after meals, or even not having meals, she can feel bloated in her abdomens, and there's a lot of burping or passing gas, or gas trapped in the intestines. So that's very important key symptoms. And her thirst level, I mentioned that she's never
Thirsty, yeah.
she's never thirsty. Like she could have just 2 cups of water, like this small cups of water, and she'll be fine all day.
And she doesn't even need any soup during the meal, because I'm a soup person. For me, having soup in the beginning of my meal is very important. And then somehow my mother-in-law is the total opposite of me. She could easily do without soup.
Yeah, so when the person doesn't want to drink water, it usually means that there's too much water in their body. The water there are usually 2 reasons that their body is this way. One is their body being too cold, that lack of energy to help the water go through their system. So when the water inside our body has to reach a certain temperature to move between cells and your organs. So it's moving kind of like in like a vapor type of form. So the molecules is smaller. It's easier to travel between the cells and the body parts. So if this person is too cold, the water is always in a liquid form. So it's much more difficult to go through membranes and things like that. Or second one is the body isn't cold, but the water passage is blocked. So like you have a sewage backup, the water, or your sink is clogged, the water doesn't go through. So these are the 2 main reasons. For her, I think it's a little bit of both, because the water metabolism requires energy from the kidneys, and since her kidneys are not very well, so that could be the reason that her water metabolism isn't that great. And then the next part is her urination. Like during daytime, she doesn't really need to go to bathrooms. She usually goes when it's towards evening or midnight, like when towards her sleep time, or even after she goes to sleep, she will have to get up multiple times to go to the bathroom. So somehow the water she drank doesn't get released until it's nighttime. So this is a sign of abnormal urination. So normally we should go to the bathroom every 2 to 3 hours. And after we shouldn't get up during nighttime to go to the bathroom. So even for older people, like this is the basic healthy standard, no matter what age you are. So, so the important thing, let's recap. So she bloated in her abdomen. So when there's bloating and affecting appetite, we would need the medicine, the herbal medicine. It's called Bai Shao, which kind of reduce the bloatiness and improve the bowel movement in your intestines. And when there's urination problem, we tend to use Fuling. So when these two combine, we need to pick a Fuling. We need to pick a formula that has Fuling and Bai Shao. So with her, the formula that I picked for her is Zhen Wu Tang, which has Bai Zhu, Bai Xiao, Fuling, Shengjiang, and Fuzi. So we need to we kind of narrow down to this formula, and then we need to check if all the herbs in the formula that fits her body type. So Bai Zhu will need this body type will tend to have like swelling in their limbs or some digestive issues. Wait, Mimi.
She just sneezed on my arm.
My hand too.
Oh gosh, you're not very graceful.
你好脏哦。
脏鬼。
Anyways, so she fits the Baizhu type. We said she needs the Bai Xiao, and then there's also what is the Fuling. So the two herbs left are Shengjiang and Fuzi. Shengjiang is usually used when somebody has like nausea feeling or has some sort of water accumulation in or around their stomach. So it helps the water metabolism. So, and then Fuzi will generate when somebody has like a cold type of syndromes, water metabolism issue, urination issues, or joint pain, or arthritis, gout, this type of joint pain. So she fits the description, and also she has a very distinct symptom is that we mentioned quite many times. So on her under her ribs, so these areas, so right here. So when I checked her abdomen, when I apply pressure at these two areas, she will feel like something's pushing out, and it's very discomfort. So when this happens, this person will need a chai hu in their formula. So I use a combination of xiao chai hu tang plus zhen wu tang, which is a common combination for commonly seen combination. And after she took, I tried a few other medicine too. After she took this combination, it helped her reduce the pain a lot. And then so whenever she takes it, it will help her pain, help her urination, and she was okay after 2-3 weeks of this formula. But then she told me that somehow she still doesn't really need to pee in the morning, and she tends to go starting in the evening. So and then after she watched one of my live video, we said that the formula Chai Hu Jia Long Gu Mu Li Tang, this type of person would tend to get startled very easily, and she kind of told me that she does get startled very easily. So I switched to Chai Hu Jia Long Gu Mu Li Tang, and after she took it for about a week, she reported back that she's able to go to bed earlier, and she now can wake up around 9 o'clock in the morning. It used to be like 11 or 12. So energy is much better. The biological clock has been shifted to like more normal, and urination has been better. She doesn't need to go until like 5 or 6 in the morning, which is not bad already. Consider that before she needs to go maybe every 2 hours during the night. So this formula really suits her, and then she's improving. So that's pretty much what. I don't know why are so many people taking this formula around me.
It's
Yeah.
the karma. You just
Yeah, I
attract that type of
think I tend
people.
to attract this type of patients, which is fine. I'm happy because the experience I get from seeing these patients, I'm more able to recognize it very quickly. So, and recently there are a few others, new patients who are also taking this formula, and after 2 weeks they notice like everything's like a big difference in their energy, their sleep, and appetite, urination, bowel movement. So pretty much everything. So, well, whatever universe gives me, I'll take it, right? One thing I like to mention, herb that my mom has been taking is called Jin, which is the chicken.
We have it.
Chicken. It's basically in the powder form. What it is a.
That's how it's written in Chinese.
Jin, yeah.
Sorry, I forgot this is the English one.
Yeah, so the translation is the gold inside the
Inside
chicken. Sounds pretty, right? So it's basically the chicken gizzard, which is one of the chicken's stomach. Because when chicken eats off the ground, they tend to pick up sand and stone as well with the grains, right? So their stomach needs to kind of break down the stone, otherwise they're gonna have stomach pain. So this gizzard is supposed to break down the stones from their ingestions and break it down. Digestion from ingesting stones.
Okay.
Anyways, so it breaks down stones, and then when they poop, you'll see like a white powder, a gray powder in their poop. So that's the stone. So basically, we take this. We use the same function that you give it to human, and it was able to break down the kidney stones in our body. So after she'd been taking this herbs, like she noticed that there's more powder coming out from her urine. So whenever we see one kidney stone in your system, they tend to have more upstream. Just like when you see an ant in your house, it doesn't mean there's only one ant in your house. It means there are multiple ants, you just haven't seen them yet. So she's taking this regularly to kind of help her break down the stones.
I have a question about intake of water. Is there a difference that I take water or soup or juice? Or just any fluid will help?
Water intake?
Water intake.
I think any fluid helps, but I would recommend that you avoid coffee, of course.
Coffee, yeah.
Yeah, I have a new patient who drinks a lot of coffee. He drinks about 1.5 liters of coffee every day, and
that is a lot.
Yeah, because he is lacking energy and he needs the coffee
That's six cups a day.
So he needs that coffee to give him energy to help him go through the day, because he has a very young child as well, which I very sympathize him for. But the coffee, what it does is it draws out the energy from your body, draws out the stored energy from your body. So it's taking money from your saving account so you can use it now instead of keep it in the saving account. So if you do this for a long time, you're going to end up with an empty saving account and nothing left to spend. So basically that's what happens with his body. And when he told me, like, okay, whenever he drinks too much coffee, there's a urination problem, there's bowel movement issue, there's energy issue, there's sweating issues. So I quickly pinpoint to him, like, coffee is your problem. You need to reduce your coffee, otherwise the medicine is gonna help. Medicine is helping him, but coffee is canceling the effect.
And of course, he's addicted to coffee already, right?
Yeah, but he was able to reduce it to 1 liter a day so far.
That is still a lot.
Yeah. But so I forgot what my point was. Anyway, so this formula, 柴胡加龙骨牡蛎汤, helps this person store the energy back to his saving the money back to his saving account instead of letting him spend. So this kind of calms him down, his body down, so everything is able to kind of reach a balance. Otherwise, he's always very nervous, very tense, and when he's nervous, tense, he tends to sweat a lot in his armpits, and he's kind of very agitative. You can tell, like, when he talks, he's a little bit all over the place. So
coffee is like a loan shark.
Yeah, you can say that.
Coffee is a loan shark.
So I would avoid. Yeah, I would avoid coffee as watering. Using coffee as your watering.
So how about fruit then? Is it still considered a good source of water?
Fruits, it depends on the person. So if this person has
diabetic issue or
has a lot of like a phlegm, when you need to clear a throat a lot, or you see some older people, you need to cough up a lot of sputums and phlegm, I would suggest avoid fruits, because fruits tend to create more
like mucus type of.
Yeah, tend to create mucus, and also milk, yogurt, so dairy product tend to create more mucus as well. And
how about tea?
Tea
is considered a good type of water intake?
Tea, it depends on the person. So whenever I drink tea, I tend to my feet tend to sweat a lot, even when I'm just sitting there. So
I don't.
So after I drink a lot of tea, my feet gets cold and having some cold sweat. So I don't think that's very good for me. So I don't drink as much tea as I used to.
Okay, so water, soup.
Yeah,
How about soup?
Soup is good. But you have to be careful. Some people with kidney issues, like my mom, so she noticed that when she goes out to eat or she order takeout, whenever she has soup from the restaurants, her body tends to kind of grab the water. It doesn't release
because of the sodium or
yeah,
MSG?
I think it could be this. They want to make it more flavorful. They add a lot of salt or other stuff, so your body is not able to metabolize the
fluid.
The fluid, yeah.
Okay.
Hi guys, I don't know who's watching.
Okay, I'll turn it on so I can see.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for today. For the English version, we'll do a Chinese version very shortly.
Bye.